Hello everybody, Danielle here. My pronouns are she, her, and this is my channel where I talk about cross stitch. And this might be a record for how quickly I'm doing a check-in after my last check-in. I last recorded my last clip on March 31st, and it is currently Tuesday, April 2nd. But I finished finished for now, my Stitch for Pride motif for March. So, not too shabby. This was chunky. But I say finish for now because, as I discussed in the last clip, so I will not go on and on ad nauseum about it, I did not stitch the cap for the sriracha bottle because I really want to do it in green because that would look closer to a real bottle. But I also don't want this to be the only motif that ends up not being monochromatic. So I have a few strands left of the strand that I had been, pulling from. I'm gonna put those in a baggie and keep it with my project so that I don't forget what I used or whatever. And just gonna hold it there. And what will happen is if we get to another month where I'm like, hey, I really, really, really want, 2 colors in this, then I will do that. And then I will come back and I will stitch this in green. But if I go all year with being okay with everything being monochromatic, then I will come back and stitch this in the same color that I stitched the bottle in. It's another 92 stitches to put in, but I am not a person to rip things out just because, oh, well, I don't like the color. I'll take stuff out if there's an actual counting error sometimes I don't. But I knew that if I stitched this in red or green, I wasn't going to then rip it out and restitch it. So yeah, but it's done. And April's drop is out. It goes below Kahindi Wiley. It is also kind of chunky, so I don't know if I'm gonna roll straight into it. Might be an easy choice to make because I'm not entirely sure what I want to work on right now, but we'll see. I'm gonna probably at least just move the Q-snap and then decide because I don't know if I'm doing any more stitching tonight anyways. But yeah, so this is done for now. We'll make the decision about the cap later. I did make a counting error in here, but I wasn't willing to fix it. Basically, where you see I started to come up to narrow my bottle, I should have done that 2 rows before I did. But by the time I realized it, I made the mistake on this side and I'd already kind of finished off this corner and I wasn't even really sure where I would, where I had tied off in this area to rip back. And I was just like, you know what? Nah, I'll just match it. I had to add an extra row because I knew I didn't want to further distort the neck of the bottle or the little top part of the bottle. So I had to add an extra row. It's fine. But yeah, so like I said, I don't know if I'll continue with this or if I'll pick up an old whip, but I will find out in the next clip. So see you in the next one. Bye. Hey y'all, it is currently Saturday, April 13th, and this is I just call it my orca piece. It is actually a chart by an artist who I won't name anymore, and so I don't give the chart details because there are elements of the chart which I'm not stitching, but there are elements of the chart that are heavily heavy cultural appropriation. So yeah, but I have Um, like I definitely could have been stitching more than I have been. This is a piece that I started in 2021. I bought the chart when I was in Seattle. There's a shop called Threadneedle Street, and I had gone out on a whale watching tour, and for the first time in my life got to see orcas in the wild, which had been kind of a dream of mine. Orcas are kind of like, I just feel very connected to orcas, and so it was a big like bucket list thing for me to get to see them out in the wild. And so I bought this chart because of that, and I got home and I put in like 40 stitches and then proceeded to not touch it until like a year later. Switched the fabric because I couldn't work on the fabric. This is a 32 count color and cotton. I think it was called Whimsical. And I worked on this briefly last year, but I did a little bit of work and then ran into a big, like, had to frog a bunch, which is down there. You can still see it. Haven't put that stuff back in yet. And so it just like went into timeout. And I pulled it out, and I have done so much, y'all. Like, I'm about to move you to show you my before picture, which I had to go get off of my Flosstube from a year ago because like I was so mad at this thing that I didn't even take a picture to post on Instagram. So yeah, let me show you. That is what it looked like when I picked it up. So the first thing I did actually was take the water out, down and out. So like way down there, the lightest colors, I didn't have those in, and I extended it out pretty much as far as it goes. So this is basically the width of the piece. This is the top, the bottom is fully in. Like there's a little bit of the orca stitched over here you can't see. But yeah, like this is basically, you know, the whole piece. Yeah, like I have added a whole bunch of stitches. I can probably flash it on the screen. I don't have the exact number right now, but I'm pretty sure I'm around somewhere between 1,300 and 1,500 stitches added. Although I did just spend over an hour picking out stitches that I had in this line right here, because you can see there's like a ton of fractional stitches in this thing, and I didn't like how the light stitches were laying on top of the dark stitches. I thought I could live with it, and turns out I can't. I think after I saw how these stitches laid down, I was like, oh, I really need to go fix these ones. So I ended up just picking out this whole line, and I'm gonna have to put that back in. But yeah, I am a little burned out on it. I would like to move on, but I leave for Stitch North in technically less than 4 days. So I'm just gonna keep powering through on this. I think what I might do, there's a bunch of stitches where I had to frog, like starting from there and working way out over the water, that would just be really easy, like row by row stitches, where I don't have to do, there shouldn't be many fractional stitches. One of the things that I figured out after I'd already put in some light stitches is I think the way this is intended to be stitched is that all the dark stitches are in first, and then the white stitches, or the light color stitches, because there's 3 light colors, lay over the dark stitches. That's how it looks best. So I just kind of had to fudge stuff here, here, here. Like the eye should be a little bit more pronounced than this, but I mean, I think it'll be okay, because I'd already put in these stitches here, and and some stitches up here before I realized that all the dark stitches have to be in before I can put the light stitches in. But yeah, so I think I'll just do some like row by row stitches that away to crank out some more work on this before I go, because I don't really feel like I just don't really feel like diving into a new project right before I go. But yeah, so that is my update. I'm really pleased with how this is looking. When I first picked it up, not gonna lie, I was like, do I even want to do this anymore? And where I was feeling was kind of like, because I was 2,500 stitches in, had 5,000 to go. So I was like a third done. And now I'm over half done. But I was feeling like if I had to start this over for some reason, I wouldn't restart it. But it is a sentimental piece due to the experience that I had. So I would like to finish it. The fabric, I was worried because I have since the last time I worked on this, have decided that I don't want to work on Lugana anymore. And this is Lugana, but this isn't too terrible. But it's also kind of been not too terrible because I don't have to count very far. Like, because this whale's basically full coverage, I don't really have to count very far. I just can't count on Lugana. The holes are they're not even enough, and I have an exceptionally hard time counting anytime I need to go more than like 2 squares away. But the fabric is being okay to me, although, and I knew this when I picked it back up, like this weave is so tight. It's really, really tight, and it's really challenging. It's especially really challenging to like see these little like quarter stitch areas. Like, I know this isn't focusing, but like I'm gonna have to put stitches between these. It's really hard to see where all these like fractional stitches are going. It's super hard to see because it's so tight. So like if I were to do this over again, which I'm not, I would do 28 count just because then it would be a little easier to see. But so between the fabric not being my favorite, all these fractional stitches, which are really challenging to fill in. I don't mind doing the first fractional, but then filling them in is really rough. I was considering, like, do I abandon this? But it is sentimental. I am over halfway done now, so I'm gonna power through. But yeah, so that's all I've got for you this clip. In all honesty, well, hopefully I'll get a check-in before I leave for Stitch North, but then I probably won't check in again until after I get back. So see y'all in the next clip. Bye. Hey everyone, it is currently Tuesday, April 16th. This will be my last chance to actually like record a clip before I leave in about 24 hours time. I will be almost to the state of Indiana, which is where my friend lives, and we're road tripping to Toronto for Stitch North. I still will probably stitch a little bit today, so what I plan to do is after the end of this clip, I'll put in a picture of where I end with this project, because this is definitely going to get set down once I'm done today, and I won't be picking it up when I come home, I suspect. So I'll insert a picture, a little before and after action, and I can tell you how many stitches I put into it. Right now I think I'm sitting at about 1,700 that I've added since I picked it up. I'm hoping today to like finish off the pectoral fin over there. I've got about 150 stitches left to put in to finish that fin off. So yeah, think that'll be as much as I do on this project. I'm really pleased with how much I've added in and really excited to get to Stitch North. I'm nearly packed. My husband keeps giving me a hard time about my luggage, but I'm like, dude, I'm gonna be gone for, you know, like 4 a.m. Wednesday morning to midnight Wednesday night. Like, that's a lot of days. I need a lot of stuff. But yeah, so I don't know if I'll vlog as much as I normally would on a retreat, just because I will be with my friend and I feel weird about vlogging with people around. And so I'm recording this now and not when I'm done stitching for the day. But yeah. Excuse me, I'm tired. I've been trying to flip my sleep so that I can get some sleep before I have to go to the airport. I have to leave my house around 3:30 in the morning. So I'm hoping to just make it to dinner tonight and then go get maybe 6 hours of sleep before I go to the airport. So, all right, I'll see y'all in the next clip, probably in Canada. Bye. Hey everyone, it's Danielle. Today is Wednesday, May 1st. I am a day late doing my end of April wrap-up video, but I wanted to actually get a little finish for now before I did film this, because I was so close that I was like, I'm not filming until I get this done. So I have a pile of stitching to show you. The last time that we chatted feels like 84 years ago, because I've literally been through 7 states and a Canadian province since the last time I filmed. And so my plan is I'm going to show you this pile of stitching, which is what I have done since I last checked in with you. And then after this clip, there's going to be a whole clip where I sit down to show you everything that I acquired on my trip from Stitch North to Keepsakes in Ohio, and also 2 shops, one in Indiana and one in Kentucky. It was a long trip, y'all. And then also, no, that's it. I guess that's it for that clip. So like, if you're not interested in haul, that's where I'm gonna kind of talk about the Stitch North experience. And I will put up pictures, like while I'm talking and stuff about the trip and everything. Then like after this clip, then that's where you can leave me. But yeah, so after this clip where I show all the stitching that I've done since like 2 weeks ago, yeah, all right, let me just stop rambling. I'm really tired and get to it. So this should look very familiar. I only pulled it out because I did, in fact, I believe I said on my video that I wanted to finish off this fin here, and I did in fact do that. So I just thought I would show you. This is where the orca sits for now. Oh, and it's hard to see, but there's a bunch of water out here. But yeah, so this is where my orca sits, and I'm really happy with the progress that I made on it. It actually looks like something now, so very happy with that. So this is the first thing that I touched when I got to Stitch North, and then it's also the first thing that I did when I came home, because I did not finish, excuse me, I did not finish this at Stitch North. It was my priority, but I did about 600 stitches at Stitch North, which was about a little more than half of what I needed to do to finish it. And then when I got home, I immediately worked on it, and it is finished for now, because this is my quarter of my round robin Caroline Manning that I'm doing with the same lovely people that I did my ink circles round robin with last year. So yeah, I'm going to mail this off hopefully by the end of this week to my friend Megan in Canada. So yeah, that is done. So then when I got done with this, I was like, okay, the next thing that has like a deadline on it is I signed up for Link is my homeboy awesome animal swap, and y'all, I don't think you're ready for how cute this is. Just gonna put that out there. It's so cute. Oh. I'm tired, y'all. Okay. I forgot that after I put away at the retreat, after I put this away because I was like, I can't stitch on it anymore, I'm burned out, I decided to start the, there we go. I decided to start the retreat kit, which I purchased. It wasn't included with the retreat, but it's a tiny modernist design. It says stitch together. There's some little buttons, and then there's spools with like flowers coming off. And I asked all of my table mates to put their initials in. Mine are here. This was my friend Heather who went with me. Barb, Katie, Debbie, and Kathy. So all my table mates initialed my piece. I personally think I'm just gonna do stitch together and then the spools. I don't know that I want to stitch all those flowers, but we'll see. This is a 20 count Evertote Roxy Floss Co fabric in the colorway Catnap, which funny enough, that's Catnap too, but in 16 count. So okay. So I just got like, I did like these 3 letters on Saturday night, and then I did like these 3 letters on Sunday before we left. Like I spent the majority of the time working on Night Before Christmas by Caroline Manning. All right, now are you ready for the cuteness? So like I said, there's a deadline on this. It had to be started by April 30th, and y'all, I knocked it out in one night. There's only 569 stitches. I started with the most amount of stitches, which was like half the project, and I was like, I think I could just do this tonight. It's so cute. Get ready. 3, 2, 1. She's so cute. So this is a pattern that I got off Etsy. My partner mentioned squirrels as an animal that they like, and I had just recently seen a video on Facebook. Well, I mean, hold on, I could just show you. Like, I could just show you how cute this is, because I actually saved the video to my save later. Oh, maybe apparently I have to sign in to I use my tablets for different things, and apparently YouTube is not something that I've ever used on this tablet. So I had just seen on Facebook the cutest video of a red squirrel, and so it was like in the den of the red squirrel, and I think the point of the video was actually that like the red squirrel was going to give birth, but when they showed the squirrel like laying down in her den, oh, there's going to be bad glare, I could not even handle my life. Wait for it. She just like splays her legs out like she's taken up the whole den. And it's, look at that. She's so cute. She is so cute. Wait for it. They show another position. Yeah. Look at it. Oh my gosh. So I had just seen this video like a couple weeks before I got the swap. And so when I was looking on Etsy, like first I looked for raccoons and possums, and I just wasn't really finding anything that I really liked. So I went to squirrels, and I found this, and it just reminded me of that video. And so I stitched up this little red squirrel pattern that I found on Etsy in one night. Yeah, I got a little, what's a kinder word than obsessed? I got a little hyper focused, we'll say. So yeah, red squirrel is done. This is not, I have to fully finish it for the swap, which I'll do sometime in May or maybe even June, because it doesn't need to be sent out till the end of June. I need to get some gifts to go with it. But yeah, so red squirrel is done. So then that just left, I needed to turn my attention to Stitch for Pride. I was really hoping to eke this, here, I'll give you a view of the whole thing. So up in the blue, we have January, Keith Haring. The green is February, Kehinde Wiley. The Sriracha bottle is Stephanie Shee from March. And April is the motif is inspired by a Vancouver, BC artist collective. Their collective name was Kiss and Tell, and they did an exhibit called, it was either called Draw the Line or Drawing the Line, and it explored interesting themes about depicting queer love. And also it kind of happened in this time frame when there was a lot of like controversy around a lot of controversy springing up around pornography and the sort of portrayal of women in pornography as, you know, it was very like heavily influenced by the patriarchy, because pornography, you know, I mean, I think still is, but definitely at the time was for sure like made by men for the consumption by men, you know? And but there, you know, was also like a movement of like reclaiming sort of reclaiming erotic imagery as, you know, empowering women. So so this motif is 2 Polaroids of hearts, and then the other one is inverted, and they kind of look like boobies. And in the pattern, so like it's kind of not showing up very well. Oh, here we go. This is better. Except focus. We need focus. Okay. So in the pattern where you can clearly see those are beads, although, all right, come on. Where I put beads, the pattern called for French knots. And I think that's because like I don't think D said explicitly, but I think a lot of people have interpreted that D explicitly meant the French knots to be nipples. And what is cool about this piece for me is that I really struggled to find, sorry y'all, I'm struggling. I really struggled to find a floss color that I felt really matched the cover photo, the called for floss, because I was really going for the hot pink that the cover photo was in. And all of my like darker pinks were kind of purpley or fuchsia based, and they weren't hot pink. So I have like a lot of bubblegum pink, and I have a lot of like fuchsia pink, but I was having a hard time finding like a hot pink. And so I was like, Danielle, go check all that stuff that you just bought. I had taken this with me to Stitch North in hopes that I would get to it, but I didn't. But I was like, go check all that stuff that you bought from Canada, because I'm pretty sure that I was having like a very neon moment when I was shopping for things. And let me pull the actual skein of floss so you can see it. This is a skein of Brennan needle floss that, wow, my camera is struggling, that I had bought, and I thought it was pretty perfect. And then because I didn't want to do the French knots, I was thinking I would just do full stitches, because when you look at the cover photo of this, I feel like it kind of takes up the whole box anyways. The French knot really does. But then I remembered that, and you'll see this if you stay and watch like the haul, in my smalls exchange, I got beads. I got pink beads. And I was like, what if I put beads there instead? So that's what I did. And so that means that everything from this motif is actually from my trip in April for this drop. So I think I like that. Even though I didn't stitch on it in Canada, I like that stuff that I got on my trip to Canada in the month that this drop is for is used in this drop. I think that makes it kind of like a memento from the trip. But yeah, like they're sparkly nipples. That's what I'm gonna call them on Instagram when I do my post. And I don't know why my camera is just not focusing on any of this. But yeah, and then it says, where do you draw the line? And it says that because in the exhibit, they actually had people like draw on the like the walls that had the art or whatever, to like, and write notes about how they felt about the art and stuff. So that's all my stitching. And actually I have, I don't have to add my stats in on a screen at the end. I actually tallied all of it up before I started filming. So for the month of April, this is my worst month of the year. But I traveled. Like I didn't stitch from that Wednesday. I left on Wednesday the 16th, I think, 17th, Wednesday the 17th. And I did not return home until late on Wednesday the 24th, I believe. The only days that I stitched during that entire time was Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And you saw how little I did on Sunday. I did 3 letters on Sunday. So my stats for April are that I did 5,428 stitches and I stitched for 18 days. So yeah, that is my April stitching wrap up. Stitch for Pride, Red Squirrel, Stitch Together, Caroline Manning, Night Before Christmas, and my, which now this is, and my Orca piece. So, all right, the next clip will be me showing all my vacation haul and talking about Stitch North. See you in the next clip. Bye. Okay, so this is going to be my clip where I discuss all the stuff that I got while I was away, as well as I had some finishes to pick up at Acorns and Threads, and they are like spectacular, so I have to show them off. So I have things organized in project bags by floss, fabric, patterns, and I just think it'll be easier for me to be like, show all of the floss, all of the patterns, all of the fabric, and say like where I got them, who they're from, versus try to go in some kind of like, I got all this at this place, I got all this at that place. That was too chaotic for my brain. So I just organized everything like items with like. So the first thing I'll show you is, this is my project bag that I got from Evertote. When I did my pre-order, I did not want to get the bag that came with the kit. It was kind of like a folio style and I wanted a bag. And so I just got on the site and looked at bags, and I like this unicorn bag somewhere. I don't know if I have it in here somewhere. There was also another little bag that came in here and it matched this fabric here. And then, so all of my pre-order stuff was wrapped up in tissue paper, and the tissue paper had this little Canada flag charm on it. So I put that on my Evertote bag. And right now, this is holding my, this is the kit that Tidy Modernist did for the retreat. And I showed the stitching in my last clip, but this is what the whole thing looks like. Sorry, I have 6 lights in my chandelier above me there is going to be some glare on patterns and stuff. But yeah, so that's what it looks like. Like I said, I don't think I'll stitch the flowers. And then most of the floss is still bagged up because I've only pulled out one color. I had all the ladies do their initials in the color that they were working with, or whatever they wanted to pull out. Okay, where's stuff gonna go when I'm done showing it? Oh, hold up. All right, so next let's talk about floss. And I put all my floss in this like adorable bag from, I believe this is from Gamma's Treasures, or Gamma's Treasure. But oh my gosh, it's farm animals doing yoga. Like, I don't think you can appreciate how cute this is. Like, this pig, I love the pig. I love this goat up here. I can't tell. There he is. He's so cute. It's kind of a full bag. So like, let me just dump it out and kind of explain where everything came from. So you already saw this color. This is the Brennan needle that I used for my Stitch for Pride, but I bought a few Brennan needles. This was actually the I think I'm saying it wrong. I think it's Brennan Nettle. This is actually the floss that was given to us by Brennan Nettle for the Quirky Quaker that was included in our swag bag. So this Brennan Nettle I got for free in the swag bag, I should say. And then my first pass through the Brennan Nettle shop, I bought these 3 flosses, which I just thought like went really well together, like kind of summery. But then I went back to their shop later and bought 3 more flosses, and it was like hard. I was like, I have to stay away from anything I've already, colors that I've already kind of gravitated towards. Here we go. Because I didn't have them with me, it was the next day. So then I bought these colors the next day. I've never used Brennan and Nettle before, so yeah, that was kind of what my thought process was. So then, some of these are my, pre-order flosses, and some of these were actually at the they were at the show, they were discounted. Oh, this one from Leo and Roxy was actually my swag bag. One, they gave us a name tag pattern and then a floss to do the name tag in, and that's the one that I got for my name tag. And I'm kind of trying to like separate out the ones that I bought there that were on sale versus the ones, I think it was like a 5 for 10 situation. I know that some of these, they're the old tags. Most of them were old tags, but I just know I had to have gotten some of these from my pre-order that were on old tags. But I did buy some of these as a pre-order, and some of these I bought at the, okay, well, I know that some of these are from my pre-order, but here are some of the Roxy Floss Co. that I got. Like I said, 5 of these definitely came from the show itself, or the retreat itself, and the other ones I bought as a pre-order. So there's those. And then I was having like a very neon moment when I shopped for my pre-order. So you might be able to tell that in my floss colors. Yeah, that green and that yellow. Ah, that orange. Oh my goodness. So these are the other floss colors that I got from Leo and Roxy. So I got a whole heck of a lot of Leo and Roxy. Then when we went to Keepsakes in Cincinnati, Ohio, I bought, so this will get a little, I will keep some of these out because when I get to patterns, which I guess I'll do next, I have a plan for some of these flosses. But these are the flosses that I bought at Keepsakes. I like to buy silk when I go to a shop, but 3 of these are just because, and 2 of them have a purpose. So I'm gonna hold those separate, and when I talk about patterns that I bought, I will show them back up with the pattern that I intend them for. So then my friend and I went to, after Cincinnati, we went to a shop in Paducah, Kentucky, and it's kind of like a multi-craft jewel store. So there was cross-stitch stuff, but I think only because the shop owner had like bought out a cross-stitch store like a year ago. But I saw some stuff there that I don't have access to here at home, and I'm like a sucker for flosses that I can't get at home. So now this is only 5 of these. I bought 10, but the other 5 are in a, I kitted up a project there, because one thing I like to do is find either a monochromatic or a low color pattern that I can kit up with both the pattern and the floss from a shop. The first one that I did that with was my Little House Needleworks Bluebird Sings, and I bought both the pattern and the floss at Stitcher's Paradise. So the other 5 of this one is in the pattern that I picked out, but this is from House of Embroidery, and they are 5 meters of stranded cotton floss. And these were just like 5 colors that I picked out. It was a 10 for $30 deal. So I picked the 5 colors for the pattern that I bought, and then I just picked 5 more. So I got, and this is a floss that I'm unfamiliar with, so I wanted to buy that. And I'll show you the other flosses when I get to that pattern. They also had the Threadworks Silk, which Acorns and Threads does not have the silk by Threadworks. So I bought 2 skeins of that, just in colors that I liked. No plan for those. They also had, also from Threadworks, Threadworks, and I think I was wrong. I do actually think that Acorn sells this overdyed Krynic. So Threadworks takes Krynic and then they overdye it, and according to Michelle Bendy Stitchy anyways, it makes it much nicer to work with. I haven't worked with much metallic, so I just bought like kind of a whitish silver and a gold, because like I figure I could probably find something to add metallic to if it doesn't call for already. And like I said, I bought them because I thought that I can't get them at Acorns, but I think I actually can. But the other thing that I hadn't seen is that Krynic makes silk. I hadn't ever seen Krynic silk before. And so I picked up, again, just like I like the colors, so I bought them because I'm a sucker for floss that I can't get anywhere else. I'm missing something here. I don't know if it's, maybe I put it with patterns. So I'll see if I find it. So then the last shop that we went to is a shop that is local to my friend. She lives like 10 minutes away from it. It's in Evansville, Indiana, and it's called Stitches from the Heart. And they had a silk there called Planet Earth Fiber or Planet Fiber Earth, but I had never seen this brand before. And so I just bought, again, just a few colors that I liked. No particular rhyme or reason to it, but I had another, not one of these skeins, but I bought another silk there that's for the pattern that I picked out. So I'm hoping it's in my bag with patterns, because otherwise I've lost it, and that would suck. But so that's basically all the floss that I bought. That's all, she says. Yeah. So, well, okay, I guess I said I was gonna do patterns next, but this is fabric, and there's not that much fabric. So I'll just do that real quick. And this is a bag that I got from I Can Sew Make That. You can see the label there. And my friend had actually bought this bag in like a smaller Notions pouch, and I was like, well, dang you, now I gotta go check for that bag. And they only had it in the fuller project size. So, but, so these 3 pieces were in my Evertote pre-order. This is 20 count panettone, 1/8 of a yard. I'm on like a 20 count kick now, ever since I did that small for Stitch North. This is 20 count candy apple. Oh, I guess it's a 1/6 of a yard, not an 1/8 of a yard. I was hoping this would be like brighter, but I do think it's like a good Christmas red. So that will come in handy, I'm sure, for like some kind of Christmas stitching. And then I couldn't get this in a 20 count. So I got it in a 16 count, and it's a bigger, I think it's a, yeah, it's a 1/4 yard. It is Pirouette, which is like a nice soft pink. So that is my Evertote fabric. And then I bought from Brennan Nettle. This is, I need to cut, they don't cut their serged stuff off very well. I bought this little baby piece of the 16 count 10 by 10 Sailor's Delight. And it's so little. That'll be like 2 quirky Quakers. Actually probably 1, because I don't stitch in hand, so I have to allow for like a good amount of border for the Q-snap, you know? And then these are both 14 count. This one, which I think is what this tag was from. No, that's just the business tag. So maybe I lost this tag. Oh no, there it is. This is Regatta Day, one of a kind. But I liked this pretty blue. I've been into these kind of like ocean-y blue colors lately. And then this is the biggest piece, also 14 count. 14 count is not my jam, but I really like these colors. It's called Blue Spruce. So yeah, it's my fabric haul. I didn't buy any fabric at any of the other shops that I went to. All my fabric came from the retreat. Oh, and then there was this little scrap of fabric and a needle that came with the Brennan Nettle fabric, or I mean floss for the lobster. Again, because I don't stitch in hand, this would probably be too difficult. This would be too small of a cut for me to use probably, but I'll throw it in there. You never know. I could give it to Michelle. She could stitch on it. Okay, next is patterns. And I bought this bag from Kaylee Tent Stitch, the sewing shop. And it's like so fun and groovy, but like what I love best about it is actually this fabric here, which is the inside fabric. It's like upholstered fabric and it's very textured and it feels really good. And then I also, no, oh, I had a little charm that I think I put on that other little Evertote bag that I said I got. Okay, so these were in a semblance of an order. I don't know if they stayed in order when I put them in this bag, but I tried to keep them in order of where I bought them, but we'll see if that happened. So, or just where I got them in general, I guess. Oh good, there's that floss. Okay, so there's a plan for that floss. Yo, we're getting mixed up here. We're getting mixed up. Okay. So this is the pattern that I bought from Paducah. It was called World of Crafting. This shop was called World of Crafting. And it looks like this is a gillyflower design, biscornu, and a pen keep. And I just thought it was cute. Little birds. And then, like I said, I got 5 flosses. It calls for 2 blues, 2 greens, and a pink. So that's what I did. Those are those House of Embroidery flosses. And then also, while I was there, or while my friend was like searching through the racks and stuff, she found this little Jeanette Douglas Designs friendships no borders. So I'm gonna stitch the little Canada one in remembrance of the trip to Canada, but I didn't buy floss for it or anything. Like I may buy a lot of patterns somewhere, but like my like keepsake pattern is always the one that I buy the floss for. So then that was all I bought in Paducah, was the floss and those 2 patterns. So then these are from the shop in Evansville, Stitches from the Heart. And this is what is going to be my my keepsake pattern from Stitches from the Heart. Is this, it's called Yellow Bird by Lottie Da. But I don't know what made me think about it. I was like, I think I want this to be my pink on pink project. I bought, so here's like, I actually pulled this out to show you. I bought this piece of 40 count Verdal from Bestitch Me. It's in the colorway Blossom, because I've been wanting to see, after I loved that 20 count so much, I was like, I want to see if I can see the holes on 40 count. I don't think it's going to go very well. After I got it, I'm not sure that I can actually do 40 count, but that's a fairly, I mean, it's not small, but it's not like the biggest thing. So I knew that I wanted to use this fabric, so then I needed to find a floss to go with it. And I was hoping to use one of these Planet Fiber Earth ones, but when I saw this hot pink, Splendor, the shop lady, was recommending it, asked me if I'd ever used it before, and I said no, and she said lots of people like it, so hopefully this will become a thing. And I got the pink on pink idea from Bridget the Museum Stitcher. Her and her little crew of friends have a bunch of pink on pink patterns. Now that I'm looking at that, I don't necessarily know that I love that hot pink, but I did buy that pink too. I don't know, it doesn't look as pink. No, that would be too light. So, I mean, these are the three. Maybe it is the hot pink. I don't know. We'll see. But that's what that pattern is for. While I was there, I need to put like all this in a bag since it is technically kitted. While I was there, so well, first I'll just talk about this. I bought this pattern was on clearance and I liked it. It's a Little House Needleworks watermelon and just has a cute little crow on the watermelon. I saw this little kit. It is by Sturbridge Roses. Oh no, it's by The Purple Thread and it's called Sturbridge Roses. And it's a whole kit. It has the pattern, the floss, and the little board, that little itty bitty one down there. It has a little board for that. And it has fabric. I won't use the fabric because it's linen and probably super tiny. But it also has the little back, the little backing fabric in there. And while I was looking, I saw this Chanel trim. And so I thought that's kind of all perfect together. I can just hand that all to the finisher and say, make me a pillow. So yeah, that's a kit. That needs a bag. So that's what I bought at Stitches from the Heart. The rest of this is now either stuff I got at Stitch North or keepsakes. So at Stitch North, there was a vendor, Canadian Stitchery, and she was selling these cute little wooden ornament kits. And so I got 3 because it was like buy 3, get a deal. So I bought this rainbow butterfly. This one, it's a squirrel with an acorn. I'll probably stitch it up and give it to Janine of Acorns and Threads. And this one, this cute little raccoon, my table mate had an idea of, they bought some too. They bought sweater ones. And she was like, I want everybody to sign the back of my felt. And it'll be my like memorial Christmas ornament for Stitch North. So I was like, oh, let me go get mine and have y'all sign my felt too. So I do want to stitch this before Christmas. That's, excuse me, that's a plan. Then, okay, these are a little out of order now. I kind of wanted to keep these in like order of how and where I got them. However, okay, this also came from Stitch North. It was part of the swag bag. It's a luggage tag. And I think there's an alphabet in there to like personalize it however you want. This was in the swag bag. It is Shakespeare's Peddler, antique scissors and spools. I like it enough to probably stitch it. And then these are the gift charts. Like I said, there was a Quirky Quaker lobster. And then the, like, hi, my name is Stitch North name tag, which I had said that I wish that they would have sent it out ahead of time and maybe I would have stitched it up. But apparently it was actually like a really last minute decision to do the name tags. So let me move some stuff out of my way. The place that I definitely bought the most amount of haul was at Keepsakes. It was a packed shop, so packed. But so this is actually, like, if we're talking plans, this is probably gonna be done pretty soon. So I bought this at Keepsakes. It is called A Very Merry Autumn. And if you look at the pattern, the little swirls spell out A Very Merry Autumn. I caught like autumn the first time and then I caught Merry and then I was like, oh, there's an A. And I bought this brown classic Colorworks Bell Swall to do it in. And this is going to be my Pinwhist Small. So that is a plan very soon, because I'm going to be taking it to the Fully Finisher so that it can be done nicely. I saw this from the Heart Needle Art by Wendy, Quaker Bees. It says, the hum of the bees is the voice of the garden. And it was funny because I saw the model and I was like, oh, I like that pattern, but I really kind of hate the called for. And I didn't really want to like try to figure out a substitution, you know? But so then I grabbed the pattern just to look at it, and I was like, oh, well, those called fors look nothing like that model, and I like how this looks, so I went ahead and grabbed the pattern. And it looks like it's charted in, I can only see, oh, here we go. It's charted in Gentle Arts, which, you know, have probably all changed by now. So I might have to do my own colors anyway. Looks like it's a green and a yellow and a black and maybe a navy. I think I see a navy in the pot, but maybe it's like a black to navy. Maybe that's what's going on. Then we have this hands-on design at the beach. Close your eyes and pretend you're at the beach. I'm a sucker, you'll see there's more beach patterns here. I'm a sucker for them. This is Silver Creek Samplers. At the beach is where I find a place to let my soul unwind. Very true for me. I'm actually going to the beach on Monday. Today is Wednesday. So yay for beach. Then I saw this also from the Heart Needle Art by Wendy, Quaker Blooms. I tend, when I go to a shop I've never been to before, I kind of like to buy stuff that I've never seen before. Because, like, you know, stuff I've seen before, I can get that on 123 Stitch. I can get it at Acorns. I like to grab patterns that, like, I am not familiar with. And I had never seen really any of these before. These are freebies. So, I mean, I don't know. This is called Friendship. It's by Shepherd's Bush. I'll just show it quickly. 2 little sheep. And it says friends. Cute. This other freebie I saw on the wall and I was like, oh, what is this pattern? And they had to be like, oh, it's a freebie, let me, but there wasn't any sitting there, so they had to go print some more. But there's the like mock-up model. A rose by any other name would smell as sweet. And I like the bee, little beehive. And yeah, it's just charted in DMC, so that's nice. So the first thing I always do when I walk into any shop I've never been in before is I ask if they have any shop exclusives, because obviously that's going to be a thing that I've never seen before. And they told me, so none of the patterns that were shop exclusives are exclusive anymore. But last year they had their 25th anniversary, and so some designers did do exclusives for them. And Heart in Hand did Any Town, Tiny Town. But as you can see, that little white house is Keepsakes. Apparently they have a little black shop cat and it says Keepsakes in the flag. And the shop is literally a white house. So I had to buy it and I will probably just stitch the little house. I probably won't stitch this whole thing. We'll do that one last. This is the Prairie Schooler Where There Are Bees. And I just, if you couldn't tell, I was having a Quaker moment. But like all of these were really like, all these I was convinced by models on the wall. I really was. Like, that's what convinced me to buy all these. So there's that. And then this is my, I will have to put in a picture for you because these cover models are done in black and blue, but the cover that I saw was red, or the model that I saw was red. So I saw this version right there, stitched up on the board and everything, and it was in red. There is another There's that one there, which has a little bit more stitching to it, I think. It's denser. And it comes with a board to finish it. I didn't care about the kit, but I was like, this is just what I really set my mind on when I saw it. I was like, I want that to be my keepsake pattern. And so I bought this Gloriana. It is Schoolhouse Red. And like I said, I'll put in a picture so you can see my inspiration. But this is my keepsake pattern from Keepsakes. So I have a keepsake pattern from Paducah, from Stitches from the Heart, and from Keepsakes. So then the last thing to really talk about as far as like my haul and Stitch North is my smalls exchange. Now, hold please, gonna have to get the actual smalls. But like, this is a teaser of my quote unquote small. Be right back. Okay, so, I forgot to mention before I continue actually, but like, by the way, also, this is not like, I'm a bad floss tuber. Like, I don't save everything. Some of the stuff that was in the swag bag I gave to my friend because I knew that I either wouldn't use it or I have too much of it. Which that also included like some of the free gifts that people passed around. Also, like, there's just stuff that I didn't show off here because I'm already using it or put it away, like my Stitch North needle minder, which I could have grabbed when I was up just now, but didn't. So I just want to say, like, this isn't like an exhaustive recap of everything that I got. But one of the things I did want to feature is my table mate Barb made these for all of us at the table. It's these little caddies. And my glasses case fits in this so well. And you can put all your little tools in these pockets. And it actually fits really well at my spot at home. So yes, Barb made that for all of us. And then Barb also, speaking of smalls, so Barb was commuting every day. She lived like an hour or two away, and she forgot her small on the day of the smalls exchange, so she could not participate. So when all the door prizes were done on Sunday, none of us at our table won anything. So she had brought her small with her on Sunday, and she was like, well, once the raffle's done, I'll take everybody's raffle ticket from the table and shake them all together and pick a winner for my small. So this is actually Barb's small. She made it a little mason jar, and her stitching is on the lid. Yeah, well, so obviously I won. Spoiler alert, I won. So I thought that was very sweet of her to like think to let us, you know, have a shot at it. Yeah, it says, do what you love, Stitch. So cute. So that was Barb's small, but this is the small that I picked off the table. Now, at Stitch North, they have you label the bag with either modern or traditional. Well, I like a little bit of modern and a little bit of traditional. I also hate a lot of modern and traditional stuff. Like, so I didn't think that I could pick based on modern or traditional. I was like, I think I'll just have to pick based on like what bag speaks to me. And when I went up, I think maybe about half the tables went up before my table got called. And I just picked like the biggest bag on the table, and it was weighty. I was like, what is in here? So I opened it, and mind you, I will put in a picture of how it looked when I opened it, because I was like, okay, I have to get a picture of this before I like tear it apart and can never put it back together. And then I'll also put a picture in of like everything. I took everything out and laid it all out on the bed and took a picture of it. But like, so I'll show you the stitching first. So I got this biscornu, as Janine would say, and oh my Lanta. So these, she told me in the Facebook post the pattern, but these are like wild roses, and they are the provincial flower for Alberta, which is where she's from. And I'm blanking on her name right now. I will probably, because I just had to put pictures in, I'll probably put her name in too, because I can find it on the Facebook group. But there was like no, you know, no card, no sign or anything. So I posted this to Facebook, the Facebook group, being like, could somebody please tell me who did this, because it's amazing and I must come meet you. And apparently the lady who did this, she brought with her to show off 2 huge chatelaines and a mirabilia that she finished. Her stitching is stunning, like just absolutely stunning stitches. And she's like out there making masterpieces. But yeah, so I have this stitching that's done by like this, I mean, she was just, her stitching was beautiful. I think my camera's blowing that out a little bit maybe. But so no, and there's beading on here, beads. My camera's kind of casting a shadow, sorry. And then, so I thought that was this, like the actual stitch, but no, there's more. She made a needle book too. Oh my Lanta. Like, look at how tiny and perfect it is. And then, and so there's beads on that too. And then if that weren't enough, on the inside of the needle book, which she did a snap in here too, she did over 1 stitching, SN for Stitch North. I mean, come on. Like, how beautiful and perfect is this? Like, it's so good. It's so good. And I just cannot even believe that like somebody who created those masterpieces like stitched my small stuff. And then there was all this stuff in here. So the beads that I mentioned in my, that I used for the Stitch for Pride, there is a nail file, some hand cream, scissor fob with like a huge chunky scissor. Like, look at those scissors. And then this fob has a cupcake on the end, which I love. Like I said, there's this cute little nail, and look how on theme all this is. Like, it's all this like, you know, pink flower theme, pink measuring tape. This baggie has stickers, and the stickers are just as on theme, I promise. This little pin cushion thing, needles, huge package of floss drops, and that also has like a scissor fob on it, a needle minder, cute little bear needle minder, but also white and pink, a fat quarter of the same fabric that she put in this case. And then this is a little orc catcher that you just pop out the bottom of. And then also, least I forget, this floss drop doohickey. I mean, like, just so extra, so freaking extra. But these cases, if you've never seen before, like people buy these like jewelry cases, and they make little like travel stitchy cases with all their little tools and accoutrement. So yeah, I mean, just like unfreaking believable. Everything that she put in here was blown away, plus the two stitches. I mean, just amazing. So thank you again to the person who put all this together for me. It was amazing. Like, I was gobsmacked. So that pretty much concludes. Oh, the other thing, I have some stuff that's kind of not stitchy related, but I did buy this bag at Keepsakes. I guess somebody kind of hand makes them for them. The green and white check is kind of their sort of signature thing that they use for their shop. So the last thing to discuss, I know this clip has been ridiculously long, as has this whole video by this point. But I simply must show you my fully finished items that I picked up from Acorns and Threads. I know I told you the last time I had finishes. They have a new finisher. She's been the finisher there now for like somewhere between 6 and 8 months. I got my block finishes and pillow from her last month, I think. And then she got the batch that had my next set of stuff. So this is my sweet little giraffe from Christmas. I turned him into a pillow. And again, she like let me pick out, she sent me options for fabric and she let me pick. And she put this sweet little bell charm on there and this cording. And I'm actually gonna be sending this to a friend of mine because I didn't love that I had to backstitch the sweater. And my friend really seemed to take a like to this stitch. She has autism, and so sometimes like I don't get a lot of like interest in my hobbies, you know. It's just not, you know, it's because of her autism. It's not because like she doesn't care about me. But this one, like, she actually remembered to like ask me about it. She was like, oh, did you finish that giraffe? And I was like, oh yes I did, would you like to see it? And she was like, oh, it's so cute. And so I just thought like that I just made up my mind. I was like, okay, I'm gonna take it for finishing and send it to her. So there's my giraffe. And then this was my Bendy Stitchy trimming the tree. And I asked for like a door hang. Basically it's exactly how you would finish an ornament, but it's too big to be an ornament. So there's just a little bit of batting behind this, which is probably a good thing because I had some knots going on back here, I think. And then this is the backing fabric and a nice little hook, because I like to just pop stuff on the wall. Like, I don't necessarily even want stuff in a frame. I think the next two things I take to her, I'm gonna have finished like this so I can just pop them on the wall. And then that way I can just take them off the wall super easy too. And then this is the pillow, or this is the stitch that my friend Heather did for me. We did a thing last year, no, 2 years ago in 2022, where we stitched the same pattern for each other, but we kept our flosses and fabric a secret. And we both have like no finishing skills, but we both tried. And I did mine like on like a board with fabric wrapped around it, but you could see it was like this, but I left like more board that had some backing fabric on it. And it was okay. Like, my corners could have been cleaner and stuff. She had decided she wanted to make a pillow, and she has like a little hand crank sewing thing. But she ended up getting frustrated and using some glue, and also the pillow was just very large. It was like 3 times as big as this, twice as big at least. And so I decided, I've had it now for over 1.5 years, and I was just like, you know what? I think that I want to take it to be refinished, because it was so big. You know, she was able to just tear it apart, cut this fabric down a little bit, and then also use the same backing fabric that my friend had used. It just needed a new trim because the trim that my friend used, it just got too ruined with glue, so she couldn't save that trim. But so she refinished this pillow for me. But y'all, the piece de la resistance. This is the batch that I took my Evertote Modern Folk Embroidery Roxy Flossco collaboration piece from December. And for some reason, I don't know why, I just really wanted a tote bag. I recognize that like, it's gonna get dirty. There's no real good way to wash it. I mean, you can spot clean the fabric, but I don't know why I just really wanted a tote bag. I didn't want a project bag because honestly, I don't use project bags that much. Well, I mean, I do, but like, I don't need that many. And I feel like a project bag, my project bags don't see much love, you know, because like I put something away for like a year. So I wanted a tote bag. And so I was like, you know, call me before you make anything, because I have very like specific dimensions in mind, because like I don't want a sleeve. You know how those cheap tote bags are just like a sleeve? They're just like 2 seams up the side and a seam up down across the bottom, and that's it. I was like, no, this is gonna be big and roomy. So I gave her all the measurements from like my favorite tote bags. And then she went and picked, and the only real guidance I gave her was I was wanting a fabric featuring birds. So she went out and she found the main fabric, the lining fabric, and then also a fabric to do a border around the stitching so that it kind of separates the stitching from the fabric. Y'all, you cannot even appreciate what I'm about to show you, except for in person. This is my tote bag. Y'all, it's so freaking gorgeous and like feels, I think she might have used like interface to make like the fabric even sturdier, because it feels really good. And like, look at this border around the stitching, like so perfect. Like these are really well spaced, like very even, very good like seams on the, you know, for the border, this fabric. And then, so she's totally surprised me with 2 things. She put pockets in it, y'all. So this is just sort of a better look at the fabric, but she put 3 pockets in the back. And I love this fabric. And then on the inside, so this is the lining fabric, and she also put pockets inside the bag. This is kind of hard to see, but she used the outside fabric so that you could see where the pockets are. And then she even put in, she made this board with the lining fabric, so it sits at the bottom of the bag so that the bag stands up by itself. I mean, this bag is so good. Like, I'm just like, I can't even with how good the bag is. And a lot of my problems with tote bags oftentimes are that like, they don't actually sit on my shoulder. They want to slide down. The straps are too short. They are not far enough apart. And so they like will rub against my, because I'm always in tank tops. So they rub up against my skin really bad. And so when I gave her measurements, I actually added 2 inches to the drop and the width of the best fitting bag that I had. And y'all, like, I don't know what I expected, but like, I did not expect this to turn out so good. Like, I am in love with this bag. So this is now, anytime if I go to a stitching retreat, I'm bringing this bag. If I go to Acorns and Threads for a Whip Wednesday and the weather is good, because like I'm not taking this out in the rain. But if I go to Whip Wednesday during the good weather, I'm bringing this bag. Like, this is now my stitching bag as long as the weather is good. So yeah, like I'm gonna post these up to Instagram because I just have to. And I will put in some, I'll put on the screen her Flosstube information and her Facebook business page, because basically she's like launched her own business as a fully finisher. But yeah, she's great. I really love all this. So yeah, that is all, quote unquote, all I have for you. Thanks for hanging in there with me. So that's going to conclude my April stitchy update. And yeah, I hope that you comment, like, subscribe, do all those good YouTube things. And I will see y'all in the next video at the end of May. Bye!